Mr. Buzbee, your witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Hello, ma'am.
Mr. Buzbee?
You look like you're a little nervous.
I'm not nervous.
Feeling good?
You know, I don't think anybody particularly wants to be here, Mr. Buzbee.
Let me ask you something. You said you appeared in front of the grand jury,
I was subpoenaed to appear at the grand jury.
and that was in 2021,
Yes, sir.
and it's 2023 now,
Yes, sir.
and that you told them everything you told us here?
I answered their
I
question.
object. If she's appeared before a grand jury, she cannot talk with us about what she testified to.
She can tell me that if that's the case.
Sustained.
So suffice it to say, your story hasn't changed since 2021, right?
Can you explain to me what story I'm talking about?
I'm wondering why the so-called whistleblowers who reported this to the Travis County DA's office and to the FBI and maybe others, and you who spoke to apparently the FBI or the grand jury at some point, why nothing's happened, even though every single thing that we've heard in this impeachment has already been fully vetted. Can you tell me, has there been an indictment of our Attorney General?
So your question is,
Has there been an indictment of our Attorney General?
not that I'm aware of.
Okay. You think that Laura Olson drives a red car? Is that what you told us?
I did not say that. I said the person at the Galaxy Cafe that I saw drove a red car. I've never said it was Laura Olson for sure.
Why are you even telling us about somebody that drives a red car at the Galaxy Cafe when Laura Olson never owned a red car?
That assumes facts that are not in evidence.
Sustained.
Do you know whether Laura Olson has ever owned a red car?
I do not.
Do you know what kind of car Laura Olson would have been driving back in that time frame?
I do not.
Okay, so you just got up here in front of all these people watching at home, our distinguished jury, and was telling us about some unknown person driving a red car at Galaxy Cafe, and you don't even know who that was, do you?
That would be correct. That's what
Why
I
the
said.
devil are we even hearing about the Galaxy Cafe? You didn't know who that person was.
I never said that I did.
How long did you work with these people over here to prepare yourself for your testimony?
I didn't work with them. I was asked to go in front of the House managers and interviewed, as well as talk to you and your staff.
Are you sure there was some sort of Attorney General's conference in San Antonio in that time frame?
The best of my recollection.
There wasn't. I guess I'm trying to figure out, well, how good is your memory?
Is that a question?
Yeah. Not very good, is it?
No, sir, it's not.
That's what I thought. Ken Paxton was your boss before you retired, right?
Yes, sir.
You told us about all this teaching you've done in CLEs, continuing legal educations, right?
Yes, sir.
You've taught students, you've taught other lawyers, right?
Yes, sir.
And you sat up here and you were trying to explain to us contracts and how the process works, right?
Yes, sir.
And your boss called you because he wanted to legally do the right thing, and you provided him advice, didn't you?
Objection calls for speculation on the part of this witness.
Sustained.
He wanted to know how to properly sign an outside counsel contract, didn't he?
Objection calls for speculation.
It's exactly what he told her.
Objection.
Overruled.
He wanted line and verse. What do you call you, Missy? Is that what he called you?
Yes, sir.
Missy, look, I'm having a disagreement with this Penley fella. He's refusing to do his job. He's insubordinate. I need to know, under the statutes, if I have the authority, the legal authority, to sign a contract. And you gave him advice, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And you said, Ken, you do. Isn't that right?
Correct.
Why are we here? The guy did everything he was supposed to. He had some insubordinate people in his outfit.
I object.
So
Counsel's testifying, not asking questions.
That is a question. I'm not finished.
Sustained.
You knew that Penley refused to follow the procedure and sign off on the contract, right? You knew Penley said, I ain't gonna sign it, right?
I knew Penley said he did not want to sign it, correct?
The only person in the office who has authority to sign the contract himself, unless designated, is Ken Paxton. Isn't that right?
That is correct.
Let's make sure we're all clear on that. This bureaucratic process that this person signs and this person signs and this person signs, all of their power and authority to sign a contract comes from the elected Attorney General, Ken Paxton. Isn't that true?
Subject to the Appropriations Act, the statutes and the rules that we adopted, correct?
Right.
Yes, sir.
So, we saw Mr. Penley's notes. If he said in his notes, Missy told Ken he had the authority to sign the
That
contract.
violates the rule, sorry.
You can
that
keep objecting.
violates
This
the
is a
rule.
document that's in evidence, Your Honor. We all looked at it.
Overruled.
When we looked at Mr. Penley's notes,
I
it-
object,
you can object again, but it's in evidence, Your Honor. You saw it, we all saw it.
I object to him testifying about a document that this witness has not established that she's ever even seen. That's improper.
That's not right, Your Honor. When I asked her if Penley's notes are correct, that is, Missy told Ken
I'm
he had
asking for a
the
ruling,
authority
Judge.
to sign a contract. That's an incredibly appropriate question.
Sustained.
Now, you did tell Penley that you had told Ken he had the authority, right?
I told everyone on the phone call, then Penley was one of the members of the phone call, correct?
Let's make sure we all get that right. And your job at that point in time when you told Mr. Paxton that was?
His chief of staff.
The chief of staff of the Attorney General's office of the state of Texas advised her boss, the Attorney General, that it was okay to sign an outside counsel contract, correct?
I told General Paxton that it was legal for him to sign the outside counsel contract, correct?
And then later, when everybody was scrambling around, you told his entire executive staff that you had told him that, right?
I was completely honest with him, yes, sir.
And they still went to the FBI, didn't they?
They, in fact, went to the FBI.
That's right. Are you somebody that goes to church?
I'm not sure that's an appropriate question, is it? My personal beliefs?
Well, it is when you're telling us about the ethical, legal, and moral implications of an affair. Remember telling us all that? Remember saying that? Maybe, I think you said political, ethical, legal implications of an affair. Remember saying that?
I remember giving the Attorney General my thoughts on those topics.
Okay, so I'm gonna get your thoughts on the topic. You ever met somebody that's perfect?
Never, sir.
Okay, was there only one person that was perfect?
In my belief system, there's only one entity that's perfect.
All have sinned and fallen short of the grace of God, right?
I would agree with that, sir.
Yeah. Sometimes people make stupid mistakes, correct?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes, I mean, imagine if we impeached everybody here in Austin that had had an affair. We'd be impeaching for the next 100 years, wouldn't we?
I don't think I should answer that question in this chamber, particularly. I've been around a long time, Mr. Buzbee. I'm not going to go there with you.
I'm quite sure you've seen a lot, have you not?
Indeed.
Yeah, just because somebody has an affair doesn't mean that they're a, quote, criminal, does it?
I would not associate that directly.
Yeah. I mean, that would be incredibly hypocritical, would it not? If somebody said, this guy is a criminal because he had a marital indiscretion. That would be really hypocritical, would it not?
I would not say that.
Yeah. You would never say something like that, would you?
I would not.
You even sent in those, when you were texting back and forth with Ken Paxton, your boss, you sent him the legal authority that gives him the authority to sign contracts, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you also referred him to the Attorney General's website, didn't you?
With the procedure, yes, sir.
Yeah. So you not only told him over the phone, but you also sent him the exact statute and the website, the AG's website, right?
I did.
Okay. Did you ever figure out how the grand jury subpoenas were actually obtained by Mr. Kamek?
I did not.
Okay. You know, of course, he didn't have to appear in front of any grand jury, right?
If you tell me that, then, I'll take your word for it. I didn't dive into that. Again, I had told General Paxton that the contract was legal to sign,
Okay.
but couldn't be funded. He had a funding issue.
Well, okay, we'll talk about the funding issue. The funding issue is something of course, Kamek didn't get any money.
I do not know that.
Okay.
Are you telling me Kamek didn't get any money?
Young man did a lot of work, didn't get paid.
I object to defense counsel testifying.
I'm asking if you knew
I
that.
object.
Sustained.
Did you know that he never got paid?
I did not know that until you just told me.
Okay. Let me ask you, would it be an appropriate process for the Attorney General, before you even try to go through the executive approval memorandum process, that's a bureaucratic process, is it not?
Correct.
Okay. It's a bunch of procedural rules that have no force in law, right?
It's a documentation that is not the legal document.
Right. Oh, gotcha, you didn't follow the procedure in the office. The AG can decide what the procedure in the office is, can he not?
He could waive the procedure in writing, yes, sir.
He can waive it in verbal. He can do what he wants as long as he believes he's serving the people of Texas. Isn't that right?
Well, he agreed to the rules that said it would be in writing.
And he can change the rules.
If he goes through the Texas Administrative Code process in this instance, he could change the rules, yes.
Let me just ask this, though, so we're all clear. Can the AG of our state send an email to the controller? Is there a controller in the office? Somebody in charge of the money?
There's a controller in the office, and then there's a Texas controller.
Yeah, I'm talking about the internal one. Who was the internal controller in the AG's office?
Michelle Price.
Can the AG send an email to the controller within the office and say, set aside $50K or $25K for a contract I'm going to sign?
He can,
Okay. Is that something that he has the authority to do?
yes.
Okay. Does anybody else have that authority?
The Appropriations Act in Article 9, Section 16 says the communication needs to go to the controller. So that communication would need to be forwarded to the controller to prove that the Attorney General felt it was in the best interest of the state.
The Attorney General. No one else.
The Appropriations Act uses the words Attorney General, and as you correctly stated, those kind of things he can delegate, but if he didn't delegate, it says Attorney General. Yes, sir.
If he did not delegate, it would be illegal. True?
I don't understand the question.
Let's say that one day Mr. Penley decides that he wants to set aside $50K to sign an outside counsel contract. That would be illegal, wouldn't it?
I don't think it would be illegal. I don't think anyone would do it for him. The controller would be following the procedures.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
I have
Let's
faith
look
in the
at
staff.
let's look at an evidence we've already seen. Exhibit 361. Can we put it on the screen for the witness? Eric, can you help me out here, Eric? Everybody likes Eric, Your Honor.
And Stacy.
And Stacy. If you don't mind, Eric, go to page 4 of AG Exhibit 361. Do you see that there in front of you? Jeff Mateer is authorizing $50,000 to be set aside for a guy named Johnny Sutton. Do you see that?
I do see this.
Did you know that was going on?
No, sir.
Did they tell you they were doing that?
No, sir.
Do you think that the first assistant has the authority to hire outside counsel with an email?
I do.
You do. But Ken Paxton doesn't.
I believe that Ken Paxton could have sent a very similar email if he did about the funding, and he would have achieved the same result. If he did, you may show me that documentation if you'd like. I'm not aware of it.
I thought we had this real strict bureaucratic procedure to hire outside counsel. Remember you telling us about all that?
We do.
Okay.
And in that procedure, the first assistant has been delegated that authority.
No. Ken Paxton did not delegate any authority to hire Johnny Sutton. No, you know that's true.
I object. That's a misstatement of what she said.
Do you know whether Ken Paxton,
Object.
I'm going to rephrase the question.
Sustain, rephrase.
Do you know whether Ken Paxton, the boss, authorized Jeff Mateer, the subordinate, to set aside $50,000 for Johnny Sutton?
I have no personal knowledge of Johnny Sutton.
Okay. Pass the witness.
Redirect.
No, sir.
Are both sides